All right.
Well, willing to bet na paparamdam siya sa akin.
Good luck with that.
He was there in our last recording before ABL left for the States. Kasi, he was there. I ran into him. And then he introduced Sienna. Sorry, what's his name? Yung partner dapat. Not Philip eh.
Si Alan?
No, not Alan.
Si Roman?
No, I forgot.
What's up, Bruce? A golden evening to you as well. Well, we talk about the
Bruce, do you believe in
hauntings at
ghosts?
the TNA studio. Fucker.
I mean, when the ghost is your friend,
There was a story din.
Is
There
it
was
really
a story
scary?
din kasi nung nag-move in kami dun sa studio. There was a story na there was a kid there.
Okay.
Jeez.
And then we had
that one is normal.
Yeah, it was normal kasi parang we're there like biglaan lang. And then there was a podcaster na hinahandle namin that can see things. Then basically she confirmed that there was a kid without us telling her na there was a story here and there was a rumor that there was a kid here na nagmumulta daw.
So,
okay.
Hi to everyone who's just jumped into the
naman.
stream. We're talking about hauntings.
Gabi
Thanks.
ng lagim. Oh no, this is
No, that's not Rowan.
Sorry.
You're hearing the dulcet tones of babyface producer Jasper.
Hello, Bruce. Good evening.
Tatakotan kami dito eh.
Without our consent.
Yeah. How do we even get to this topic again? I forgot.
We were talking about our dearly departed Joseph Acuna.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure he's having a hoot.
Ito, may tanong si Ina. Pampa-change topic. Ano raw ang favorite wrestler's theme ninyo?
Siyempre yung amin. What else? I mean, ba't ka magpapagawa ng theme mo kung hindi mo magiging favorite?
Yeah, the MSG
Ikaw,
theme's
Jasper.
up there.
Jasper, what is your favorite wrestler's theme?
Based on my Spotify analytics, I've been listening to a lot of old school Finn Balor.
Yung
Catch Your Breath.
Rock and Roller?
Catch Your Breath. No, Catch Your Breath.
Sabi mo old school Finn Balor.
Hindi, Finn Balor kasi if we're talking about old school, talking
Prince
about Prince.
Right.
Makes sense.
I also have to say even though we don't praise this wrestler anymore, whatever, it's still one of my favorite wrestling themes.
It goes hard. It goes pretty hard. Kasi totoong banda yung kinuha ni Jim Johnston dun eh. Diba?
Yeah, and it's a song that they actually recorded on one of their albums that they used to perform on tour until June 2007.
Yeah, do you remember those days? I don't know kung nabuto mo yung Jasper, pero nung panahon na yun, the wrestlers were allowed to pick licensed songs from legit albums. These songs weren't recorded for them.
When was this?
That was pretty cool.
Early 2000s?
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah.
That's
so
why
Edge had two of them. One of them.
Biscuit, Alter Bridge.
But I think the game was specifically composed for Triple H.
I think most of the
Evolution, Line in the Sand.
Yeah.
No, pero si Edge has two real songs, if you will.
Metalingus and yung
Rob
kay
Zombie
Rob Zombie.
theme. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
I'm surprised no one here is mentioning No More Words. That's a pretty popular one as well.
Hell yeah.
That
And
too goes hard.
There's a sleeper pick here
kayo.
na kay Jack Swagger.
Talaga? Get on your knees.
Get on your knees.
That's pretty good. No, it's pretty good. I remember
it's pretty good.
Nung SmackDown versus Raw 11.
Yeah, I hear that a lot of times nung SV19.
By a group that called themselves Age Against the Machine.
Age Against the Machine.
Yeah. Maganda rin yung theme ni Evan Bourne. It was a banger. Oh shit, favorite theme. I was listening to it the other day while walking. SOS is still a pretty banger
Kofi Kingston.
I wanted to hear that in WrestleMania 35.
Yeah. All right, shut up, man.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Welcome to the big time!
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Hello, my name is Ilja Dragunov, the star.
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles, and you are listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
You are watching and listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C, Romoran, and a special guest co-host for tonight, babyface producer Jasper, the man at the controls, the man behind that wonderfully produced OBB you hear on every episode of this very show. Yeah, now you can see his face, you'll hear his dulcet tones. How's it going, babyface producer Jasper? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm a bit under the weather with the really heavy weather under my roof. But it's fine because it's wrestling. We're talking about wrestling, which is my hobby.
Nice. Mga viewers and listeners, how about you give Jasper here a warm welcome?
Thank you.
Sobrang lamig ngayon eh.
Yes.
Since nag-guest ka na sa podcast, Jasper, hindi ka na pwede umalis ng PNA. You're with us forever.
Or else magagalit si Joseph. Rest in peace.
Oh, no. Wag naman sana.
All right, we got a lot to talk about as always. Another huge week in wrestling has come and gone. But first, before everything, we want you to be part of our growing wrestling podcast patron community. Ito si Jasper, matagal na naming niyayayang sumali. So maybe Rose Pitch will actually make him click that subscribe button.
Oh, take it away, Jasper. Joke lang. All right, guys. So maraming ganap. Sobrang daming ganap. And we have, syempre, we gotta invite you all to join our Patreon, patreon.com/wrestling podcast. We may or may not have a viewing party for NXT Great American Bash. I'm still gonna survey the people whether they want to do a Monday morning watch party for NXT. Pero I suggest you do because NXT's banging right now. So if you want to be a part of that, if ever, you can, again, subscribe to the podcast for only $5. It is around 275 pesos. You get access to our Discord community where we talk about wrestling. Jasper, kung naghahanap ka na ng makakausap about wrestling and other stuff, sali ka na. So Discord community where we talk about wrestling, sports, whatever, memes, food, WWE, AEW, NJPW, all that good stuff. And we're also where we hold the watch parties over Discord. And syempre, we have pasabays. We're still working on our improved pasabay service. But since maraming sale, whether it's WWE Shop or Shop AEW or Pro Wrestling Tees, if you want it, we can put together a pasabay for you. Kasi mahilig kami mandasan. I've been wanting to get some merch now for a little
bit.
Jasper,
ito sasabihin ko. Kanina, muntik na kami magkabudulan ni Ro na bumili ng Lucha Bros Diadora collab stickers.
To be fair, it's $150. Tapos you can installment siya.
Ne, 100 lang yung Lucha Bros.
Nag-sale? Ano ko
yes.
50 eh.
Nag-sale siya, bro.
God damn. may installment pa yun dun sa kanila. Yung $30 for 3 gives. Anyway, and we also have review content, but that's free for you because we want you all to read our writing. Syempre, you gotta let Rowan practice his hits in for SmackDown and MWF. Then I'll be reviewing Raw, NXT, Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage, and pay-per-view. So you can get those for free. But syempre, if you want to support us, if you like what we do, if you want to keep the wrestling podcast financially going, please do consider subscribing to us on Patreon. Again, patreon.com/wrestling podcast. Should be here somewhere down in the bar. I don't know why it's not scrolling, but again, it's $5, and that's around 275 pesos. Patreon.com/wrestling podcast.
Yes, and another way that you can support the podcast is by joining us in person for our SummerSlam viewing party that's happening on August
Ito.
6, 2023. That's a Sunday morning over
Ito,
at Skinny
Jasper.
Mike.
Kung wala ka
Pupunta
pa
talaga ako
dito.
dyan. Pupunta talaga
Yan.
ako dyan.
Yan. Meet
Nice.
na si babyface producer Jasper.
Yeah, if you meet him, be nice, go say hi. Thank him for the work that he does for the podcast. And as a special treat, Ro here says na he can pipe in Tagalog commentary for the viewing party.
Yes, sir. We're not partners with the mouse right now, so we're not obligated to run the mouse's feed. So if you've been missing yung Tagalog commentary, and if you've been missing yung mas maayos na, na screen resolution, the stream resolution, please check it out. SummerSlam watch party on August 6th. That's a Sunday morning. Sorry. Gates open at 6:30. Kasi you got to get your seats. It will be full. I promise you. We did have that problem at WrestleMania. It's only 400 pesos for early bird tickets. If you get them, I believe up until the Friday of that week. Until then, after that, you will have to pay 500 pesos for a walk-in ticket. So all you got to do is go to snack.ph/geektalkph, snack, snack.ph /GEEKTALKPH. Everything you need to buy the ticket online is there. I believe we accept credit card, debit card, and I believe GCash. Paki-confirm na kung yung mga nakabili na. So, yun, we'll be there. But also, syempre, I know that we're running this party, but we got to give a shout out then. Our friends at Hobby Stadium are also running their own SummerSlam watch party. So, for those mga nasa Quezon City's north, all the way up north, I understand that you might not want to go all the way down to BGC to watch the show, diba? So, please do support that. There are friends as well. Wala namang competition dito. So, and that's at Hobby Stadium, syempre, same time. I'm not familiar with what their prices are, but the food is good. The atmosphere.
Wala silang entry fee. Walang entry fee.
I just gotta, so,
mag-order ka lang, huwag ka lang sugapa.
Mahiya naman kayo ng konti.
Makikinod ka na nga eh.
Ayun yan. So, it's pretty good there too. We would have run it lang if we committed to it, pero we could not. We only had the manpower to run one show. So maybe next time, maybe if we grow as a team, we could run both venues because they really do want us there. And in a much better situation, we would have run both. So yun, dami yung options for SummerSlam. You can party with us, you can party with them. So we'll see you one way or another. And we promise you the WWE fandom here in Manila will not be disappointed on August 6th.
Pakita natin na para tayong gremlins. We don't die, we multiply. Diba?
Basang-basa pa.
All right, let's talk about some wrestling here. Babyface producer Jasper, let's get to our first point here. Let's talk about Seth Rollins because he appeared on Ryan Satin's Out of Character podcast. And ito parang follow up to dun sa discussion ko with sina Chino and Emil last week on whichever you prefer, whether you want a fighting champion like Seth, who's always putting up his title on the line every week, or somebody like Roman Reigns or a Brock Lesnar na special attraction as a world champion. So, di ko alam kung bakit niya to in-address. Maybe narinig niya kami. Maybe bring up lang din ni Ryan Satin out of sheer coincidence. But he said na his championship reign with a big gold belt actually fills a need. Na merong mga tao na naghahanap talaga ng fighting champion, and that WWE tried that with the United States Championship and it just didn't really have the same weight of a world heavyweight championship. So, eto na. By introducing this title and having Seth Rollins as the babyface fighting champion, you have both. Kasi Roman Reigns' schedule obviously can't meet yung demands ng mga fans who want to have that world championship on every live event, every tour, every episode of television. So let's start with babyface producer Jasper here, since ikaw yung bagong salta. What do you think about this debate na fighting champion versus special attraction?
I think it's nice to have a fighting champion kasi there's a level of consistency and the use of wrestlers na parang nagbibigay silbi na you get reminded of what you're fighting for. Parang actively going through the ranks and all. And I can also understand why there's also an attraction like per se si Roman Reigns. But I'm leaning more on the fighting champion because it gives more prestigious on the belt itself. Because given the yung how many people you've already beaten to maintain this championship compared to, the attraction one. Kaya, and that's on me lang.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. That's your opinion. That's totally valid. Kasi nga, diba, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. Ikaw, Ro.
Yeah, no. I wanted to touch on the point that you mentioned about yung US Championship and why that didn't take off, diba? Like, to me, it's not fair. I don't think they gave it enough of a shot to, to really make that experiment take off. Like, for one thing, fucking Shinsuke Nakamura main evented Wrestle Kingdom with the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. And that was always the B title until Nakamura made it the 1A, 1B title. Diba? So it means that with any amount of political will, you can make it whatever you want it to be. And they did try with guys like Bobby Lashley, with Seth Rollins, with guys
Finn.
like Finn Balor,
Theory.
and then you got Austin Theory, who has 2 reigns to the championship. So what was that about? To me, lang, I think that one failed because technically you still had Roman Reigns as the champion of both brands. So even though he appeared on SmackDown more, syempre, it's still him being the nominal top champion on Raw as well. So the fact that he was still number 1 on the depth chart when it comes to the championship, when it comes to the tier list, syempre, walang pag-asa yung United States Championship to get on that level. Diba? So that's not fair. I thought they didn't give it a real fair fighting chance. So sayang yun, because I really wanted that to succeed. I wanted either the United States Championship or the Intercontinental Championship to be on that level. So yeah, you're right though. He's right. Seth is right that even though there are people like Chino who wanted the World Championship to be a special attraction, and to be fair, maraming sumang-ayon sa kanya on TikTok. So there is something there. You also do want to see, or there are people who also do want to see the champion put his money or put their money where their mouth is. So you do got to cater to both. I think you can't have it one way because there are people who will complain. I think the best thing about having such a deep roster is you can address these different problems with your multitude of guys on the roster.
I don't think napag-usapan natin to last week, but yung maganda sa pagkakaroon ng dalawang champions is you actually give an opportunity for those who are on the cusp of being world champion level or main event level. Binibigyan mo sila ng chance to actually have a test run with a world championship, diba? You saw it with guys like CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, diba? Yung first titles nila were the World Heavyweight Championship bago sila nag-graduate, so to speak, with the WWE Championship and its richer lineage. So, hindi natin malalaman how successful they would actually be as a world champion kung di mo sila binigyan ng parang trial run, as opposed to kung talagang isa lang yung championship mo, edi you'll never know. Kasi, Roman Reigns has been hot for 3 years. Are you gonna let him lose to LA Knight? I mean, I'd like for that to happen, but diba, most people would probably not be okay with that.
It also depends on the kasi how they book the and also it depends on how the wrestler itself handles the belt, or how they defend it, or how they simply give value to it in regards to the promos or what. So
yeah, no, it gets so what I said, it's really about the booking and how much willpower you have in going the length to make sure na this championship is what you wanted it to be. Kasi you can give it to a big star, like you can give like something like the United States Championship to a big star like Lashley or Rollins, diba? Pero if they're not getting if they're not always getting the big stories, then without it, I mean, Roman Reigns is still the top guy.
Mm-hmm. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about more WWE stuff. But first, I want to answer this question from Alistair in the live chat. He's asking if we think Grayson Waller is what WWE was trying to do with Austin Theory. Because they're on the same show, diba? Pareho silang SmackDown. They're kind of both the brash up-and-comer. Pero si Austin Theory mas matagal on the main roster technically, and he's an actual champion, whereas si Grayson Waller just had his first match against Edge last week on SmackDown. What do you guys think?
So yeah, Jasper, go for it.
I think it's not fair to compare Grayson Waller to Austin Theory because let's be fair, Grayson Waller can talk and Austin Theory needs a little bit more work, but he can deliver in terms of how he wrestle. Both of them can, but I wouldn't say that's how WWE were trying to do with Austin Theory because I think Grayson Waller himself is himself being himself in the main roster and it excites me kung paano siya where does it go, diba?
Yeah. The question of whether Grayson Waller is trying to be Austin Theory, I think it's wrong. I think Austin Theory does not know who he is anymore. I don't
Damn.
think Grayson Waller was trying to be what he originally was. I think for the longest time, I think Grayson Waller was more established in what he was. If you've seen NXT, I said this was always Grayson Waller from day one.
Yep.
He never changed anything. If you are seeing him for the first time, it's because if you're seeing him for the first time, that's why you would think he's trying to be like Austin Theory. But for the rest of us, we've been new. Ito talaga yung gimmick niya. So that's not fair to him, I think. I don't think he was doing the same thing. He wasn't doing the selfie thing. Diba? He wasn't really doing any of that. He was just being your stereotypical asshole. I forgot, somebody said it on NXT. Grayson Waller was trying to be the Miz. Yun yung comparison. Not Austin Theory. And then, diba? So, that's not fair to Theory either. But the thing with Theory is just that since falling off after John Cena, what else? Diba? What else is there? He has, I think at this point, siya yung may pressure to find something that works for him. Because whether or not Grayson Waller intended to take Theory's place as the asshole mid-carder, it was always him when he came over to the main roster.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll get to more WWE talk after this break, but first a quick word from our other podcasts on Podcast Network Asia. All right, let's talk about SummerSlam since we plugged yung viewing party for August 6th. There's a rumored card already. If you know where to look, you'll find yung parang match card that reportedly is already penciled in. And if you find it, you'll see that there are already 8 matches. So let me just run them through for you and then let's get your thoughts in. So half of the card is actually women's matches. You've got Trish versus Becky, Rhea versus Raquel for the Women's World Championship, Asuka versus Charlotte versus Bianca for the Women's Championship. You also have Ronda versus Shayna, so that's 4. The Logan Paul Showcase, which we now know is most likely going to be against Ricochet, that's 5. Gunther versus Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. And Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso after the events of the Tribal Court. That's for the Universal Championship. So that's 8 matches. So kung yun yung card as it is, what do you think about that lineup? Ikaw muna, Jasper. Let's get those nerves out of your system.
Personally, they're missing a big chunk of the upper card there. We have to mention the Judgment Day and Sami Zayn and KO and of course Seth Rollins right there. Maybe we have to wait for that. And there's also a storyline brewing, which is the story of Ciampa and Miz that could be related to Gargano coming back or DIY going for another run because Miz has Bronson Reed now. And another would be si Mami.
Yeah.
She doesn't really have anything going on right now. She's the champion and all, but you hold the belt, you might as well use it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, parang siyang hindi na gana. Defense last week. No, but all right. First of all, I see the Jinder Mahal slander on the chat. Pag siya nakuha namin via Carlo Canon, huyo kayo. Second of all, I think this isn't the final card. 8 is already pushing it. WrestleMania was at 8, tapos they had 7 advertised matches.
Yeah.
So I think that's the top end. And I think there will be some editing as well. Like, I don't see, for example, Rhea versus Raquel on that show. I don't see Ronda and Shayna on that show as well.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Kahit na last match ni Ronda supposedly.
Okay, fine. Sige. I maybe don't see, I don't know. I don't know. Mahirap din.
What are you gonna take out? You can't take out Logan Paul. You can't take out Gunther and Drew either.
But the thing is, nothing has been officially confirmed. Like, nominally confirmed. It's, it's
puro
all
challenges
just,
pa lang and setup and all that.
It's speculation based on what's happening now. And the thing is, Triple H isn't the kind of booker to put everything in.
Yes.
You've seen that. Like, there's a lot of stuff on Raw that is, I could have been on a pay-per-view, on a PLE. So, okay lang yun. I don't think, obviously, Miss and Ciampa is not going to make it to the show, to the PLE. It will be tough. It will be tough to see who gets cut. It will be tough for the people to get cut because they're missing out on a PLE payday. Pero sometimes for the bigger picture, you do have to give up your spot. And I think matinding editing ang gagawin because you cannot just run a 5-hour show. It's not like the most they'll do is what 4 hours. Like, and I don't even think more than 7 or 8 is gonna be under 4 hours.
Yeah, maganda yung minention ni Jasper kanina because looking at that lineup that I enumerated earlier, no mention of Seth, no mention of KO and Sammy and the Judgment Day. And those are some of your biggest acts on Raw. And for them not to be on the SummerSlam card is very odd. If ever ito nga talaga yung card.
I feel like I don't know. So many moving parts. That's why I don't want to be a booker. I only want to be an editor. I can see Gunther versus Drew going on SmackDown, and they'll just get a really long SmackDown spot on that week. Diba? I mean, it's happened before. Gunther has made main event defenses. So, sorry, Drew. I know you wanted a bigger spot, but unless you sign the contract, you're not getting. Medyo hindi ka priority right now.
Wow.
So I don't know. If I were, I mean, there are so many things to consider and put on the show, diba? So sorry na lang. I don't know, it's tough. It's not my job, it's not my problem, but I will just stick to the opinion that not all of these are going to make the final pay-per-view card.
Ito, bonus question for SummerSlam. Looking at last year, but that was Triple H's first PLE where he was running creative. And right away, he made noise by bringing back Io and Dakota and then having Bayley make her return. So are we expecting any huge returns at SummerSlam given what we're hearing? Like, may rumors about Bray Wyatt supposedly coming back.
Oh,
I don't know who else is in the pipeline.
I mean, for sure, there should be. Because that's also, to hook up. Kasi diba some people are leaving wrestling because it's a little static right now. But like what happened before, it could pull back a lot of people who went away.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping for a Bray Wyatt.
Babalik mo? Like, you want to bring back Bray Wyatt? Fucking Bray Wyatt.
Bray is technically still under contract.
I know, but
Bo Dallas.
You want to see him?
I'm sure that a lot of people who have gone sour on the Bray Wyatt run to date, they're gonna get excited again the moment they hear his music.
Tapos the cycle continues, so we'll all be disappointed. Well, you will be disappointed again. I know what's happening. So I don't know. Obviously the Uncle Howdy stuff was a miss. It was a huge miss.
Yeah.
So unless he has a fresh new idea, and so he won't go back to the Wyatt family because he said he won't do that when Brody's not here anymore.
Yeah.
So, ano na? Saan na tayo? Saan ka lulugar?
Ito, sabi
Stephen
ni
Amell.
Awi,
Let's
si
fucking bring
Goldberg
back
daw.
Stephen Amell.
Yeah. May rumors then about Stephen Amell actually appearing. I would be so down for that. Sakto, Heels will premiere season 2 at the end of July. And
Kahit si
SummerSlam
CM
is
Punk
first
yung
weekend of
babalik sa
August.
Heels.
AJ Lee is going to be on Heels. So, if you've been following the social media of Heels, that should be fun. All right. Daw, sabi ni Awi, si Goldberg daw magbabalik. Maybe his farewell run starts here.
No.
Well, didn't let him go, so I don't know.
They could have let him go to re-sign him to a shorter deal or something. I don't know. I don't make these decisions.
Oh yeah, Orton. Yeah, I think I would go crazy for Orton. Yeah.
Yes, please. Albert, regarding Braun Strowman, parang long-term injury ata to eh.
Not only did he get a concussion, I think he broke something. If I
he's going to
remember
be out
correctly.
a while.
Yeah.
Big E, it's been a while. It's been a year and a half since.
Oh yeah, Big E. Yes. It should be time kasi he said that he was pretty okay. Parang kulang na. It's like Brian, kulang na lang yung go signal ng doctor. So that should be.
If Big
good.
E comes back, we will lose our shit.
Yeah,
for sure.
Magwawala
ang bar. Like somebody better take a video if Big E comes back, diba? The sports bar. Magwawala yung mga yan.
Libs.
All right. More SummerSlam related stuff. Ito, another implosion storyline happening as we get on the road to SummerSlam. And napansin natin na you've got simultaneous implosion stories happening. One on SmackDown with the Bloodline and one on Raw with the Judgment Day, which not to telegraph naman nila, but is it good to have these two implosion storylines happening at the same time, which some characters are actually self-aware of backstage? If you look at, if you watch the entire show, I think it was KO and Sammy who made fun of it.
I mean, KO's the only one who watches the TV. He's the only one who watches everything. Yun yung gimmick niya. That's my favorite gimmick of all. Okay, no. I noticed this kasi one, the Judgment Day is all over Raw, the same way the Bloodline was all over SmackDown, right? So there's that. So if you pay attention, you would see that, okay, there are two factions that are actually running the same story. And then we just get to compartmentalize it because the brand split is in full effect. Judgment Day are very strictly on Raw and then on NXT. And then the Bloodline is very strictly on SmackDown. And then, alam mo yun, they do their thing. And it's weird. I feel like there's too much of this. Syempre, I don't think it was intentional na they did this at the same time. It's just that, syempre, organically, one story, both stories will go to where they are now. But at the same time, that's the power of editing. It's the power of having the final say and, not publishing your story basta-basta. So nobody thought na we're doing Jay versus Roman, Usos versus Roman and Solo here. So maybe you couldn't have figured now, okay, maybe we should pause the Bloodline story for now because the Judgment Day story for now, because even though Damian Priest is over, I don't think he's like Jay Uso over. And I think you had enough time to milk the Judgment Day run until you pulled this trigger. Like, yeah, Damian Priest is hot, pero I wasn't asking for a solo run yet, unless I mean, if the end game was to bring in JD McDonough to the Judgment Day, why couldn't they have just added him without subtracting someone? Diba? And
then somebody in the back was thinking, yung kanilang internal monologue was,
I have to finish the story.
Yun. I mean, like, I don't know. Parang all of it was a mess. Like, I don't know if there was a long-term plan in place, but that's why you also adjust things on the fly. Like, had you given the Money in the Bank briefcase to LA Knight, you wouldn't have had to do the whole Damian Priest thing. Like, yes, it's there. It's a fun story. It's nice in a vacuum, but you're not in a vacuum. You have to be aware of what's happening elsewhere around you. I mean, like, sayang kasi I feel like now that I think about it, now that I flesh this out some more, parang nasayang din sa LA Knight kasi you had to finish the story with Damian Priest.
Ikaw, Jasper, do you like that the Judgment Day is trying to finish the story?
No. I mean, kasi I see it more as a door closes and another one opens. I think yung part ng story ng Judgment Day right now is the same part of the story sa Bloodline when Sami Zayn is slowly gonna turn on Roman, which is relatable to ano yun, to Priest and Finn, which yun nga, they nung Monday they patched things up and strengthened the bond nung nag-appear sila sa NXT. So
they're a step behind, is what you're saying. A step behind the Bloodline.
I think they're following what's happening. Pero yun nga, I do agree na I do agree that it's a little bit overwhelming kasi nga you ramdam mo na matatapos na yung story ng Bloodline, then there's a new one that you have to catch up. Like there's a high chance you could get tired of it.
No, I think the thing that makes it worse is now because they see that the Judgment Day, all for at least 2 guys out of 4 are big hits. Like binibigyan na rin sila ng maraming screen time. So that's what I meant when I said they're the Bloodline of Raw. So now it's more obvious than ever that they're running the same story. So when I tune in on Monday nights, on Tuesday morning, I'm gonna see, okay, may drama sa Judgment Day, and then they're teasing a breakup. And then when I tune in on Saturday morning on SmackDown, this is the same story with different people. So alam mo yun, if it weren't so obvious, I think I wouldn't have quite the problem with it. But since they are naturally over, they do get the exposure, Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it does. I don't think you have to be a wrestler to notice it, but you just have to really watch the shows every week and you'll be like, oh, no, it's the same story. Not saying it's a bad story, it just happens to be the same one with, with different players interchanged with one another.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit when we talk about AEW later, but to me kasi when you have the power to edit things, you do that to make sure that what you're putting out there feels fresh. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a bit of a failure in that regard.
Speaking of keeping things fresh, let's step on over to NXT, where Carmelo Hayes has a new number 1 contender, and that is Ilja Dragunov, former guest here on the Wrestling podcast. He looks way better and way more menacing with facial hair, so I really love this look on him. And he defeated Braun in a very fun match. Talaga, you don't like the facial hair? Dude, I love it on him.
No, I don't know, it's weird. I can't put my finger on why, but it's weird. Maybe if it grows fuller, maybe I would like it more. But right now,
baka pinapahaba pa lang niya.
I mean, I don't feel it.
Maybe we're just used to had the clean shave.
Yeah.
Yeah, clean shaven, really extreme, eyes popping out, Ilja Dragunov. Ikaw, Jasper, what do you think of Ilja here as a challenger for Melo? Believable na matatalo niya si Melo?
Oh, I'm a big Ilja fan. I'm excited if ever he wins. But yeah, my money's on Ilja. And given the match that they had with Braun Breaker, the intensity of how he beat the hell out of Braun, there's no doubt about it. That
next in
maybe,
line.
Just maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, next in line.
Alam ko bakit di gusto. Pogi siya eh. He's got that Draco Malfoy thing going for him. That Tom Felton thing going for him. So that facial hair just ruins everything. So what am I in? He could be a TV star after all this is over. No, it's great. I feel so sad that a lot of people don't get to graduate from NXT, but NXT needs them more than they need NXT and the main roster. So does this mean between the two of them, between Ilja and Carmelo, Ilja needs the call up some more, but Carmelo is more over. So will it be if I were them, I'd just give Ilja the win, because Ilja without a belt is weird to me now. It's like Gunther without a belt then. So and I mean, if the idea is to bring Melo up anyway, which you already teased with the whole Seth Rollins and Judgment Day stuff, then yun na, pull the trigger na. I mean, like, it's okay. We had our fun with Melo. It's been what, 3 months, something like that. Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Been a lengthy
I
one.
think. Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't matter if he wasn't champion for 2 years, like Braun, diba? So, he can lose and he can go up. I'm sure they are raring to call both of them up. Si Braun and si Melo.
Gagi, what if
So,
what if Melo drops the title to Ilja Dragunov at the Bash and then SummerSlam, boom, Melo appearance?
Pwede. I think.
What about
I
Braun,
think
though?
that maybe. I think both of them will go up because
Yeah, bro.
they are really high on both of them. Like, syempre, they showed both guys on TV on main roster TV, diba? So that's a go already. So it's only a matter of when. I think I do think SummerSlam is not a bad win for this.
Yeah. For those of you who want to hear the Ilja Dragunov interview on the podcast, we're so thankful that he didn't get a name change because you can just search Ilja Dragunov Wrestling Podcast and you can find it so easily. So go look up that interview after this live stream.
We don't know that though. I mean, like, you never know.
Well, Gunther was changed, NXT pa lang siya.
Yeah,
Ilja Dragunov went from the UK to the US and stayed as Ilja Dragunov.
You don't know that. I mean, nothing is set in stone.
All right, let's stick with NXT here and talk about Tony D. Tony D is free, all because of a wrestling match that Stacks won. And last week we were talking about how compelling the story has become and how hindi natin alam what Stacks' motivations really are. But apparently, he has stayed true. Loyalty is everything, sabi nga ni Shayna Baszler. And apparently, that also holds true for Stacks and for the D'Angelo family. So this is pretty interesting. Shout out, by the way, to our listeners who've been saying that they want more NXT talk. Here you go. We're actually giving you more NXT talk right here.
Oh, I'm super confused now because last week's segment confused me because I thought I had it figured out. Because last week, but the whole point was that he couldn't beat Joe Coffey. That's why he made the match. And then justify niya na things were better when Tony D was in jail, diba?
Yeah.
So I thought that the closest thing to rigging a pro wrestling match was to go up to make a match against someone you can't beat.
Right.
So that was the idea. And then he wins just like that. So why did you have to go through all of that? Unless the idea was to clear his name, kasi Joe Coffey called him the Rat.
I'm still confused, to be honest. Hindi ko pa rin alam kung sino yung tunay na snitch.
No, ang alam ko, kinonfirm na si Stacks yung snitch.
Right. So
And
he
then,
does that, puts Tony
That's
D
why
away.
they made the match.
Right,
Kasi Kasi he pretty much told Tony that life was better when he was in charge. When Stacks was in charge. Yun yung nakuha ko from last week's segment.
Yeah. It's kind of confusing, but also just the mere fact that someone's freedom, someone's stint in jail was hinged on the outcome of a wrestling match. Like, now I've seen everything. I think it's funny in a great way. Wrestling is everything.
Sana all makalaya via wrestling.
So, at least alam natin na si Tony D'Angelo nakakalaya because of wrestling.
No, but the confusing ending aside, I think it's not over yet. I think there's going to be more to it next week. Because, there's the Bash is coming, so I think there's more to it.
Yeah, and Gallows hasn't been messing with anyone, so sure na sina Stacks and Tony D yung kaaway nila.
Yeah. I do appreciate this because not just because I like mafia stories, but because it's one of those things that they are telling. They're telling in a long period of time, so that's pretty cool. Sorry, the bar's low for WWE. so whenever they do these things, even though it's not always executed well, the fact that they dared try it is great for me personally. Like, I still see people complain about Von Wagner because Von Wagner is still not the best actor. The guy had a brain operation, so maybe we should cut him some slack.
Ito like whether it's Von Wagner or Tony D and Stacks or Baron Corbin, there's a lot of effort being put into shooting every vignette weekly. Kahit na sabihin mo na they just shot all of that over the course of a weekend, the fact that they chopped it up into segments that they could air out over the space of weeks or months, that's effort, and you have to applaud that.
I mean, yes, Von Wagner's still not the most compelling orator ever, but I am invested in his story. There is progression in his story, and I am
Oh.
shocked. I was shocked by the reveal of his childhood condition. So that was pretty cool. And I'm not asking you to like it with me. I'm just saying that this is cool, and this isn't something that we've really seen too much of in the WWE.
Glendale asks, thoughts on the new Baron Corbin? Oh, I will suspend my thoughts muna or withhold them until we see who the hooded figure is.
Let's hope it's not a Klansman.
Oh God. Oh God. May mga nagsasabi na baka raw si Bray Wyatt. Like, why would Bray Wyatt go back down to NXT? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll wait until the hooded figure unmasks and reveals themselves. All right, let's take another break. When we come back, some AEW talk fresh off of Dynamite from this morning and Collision from over the weekend. But first, a quick word from our other kapodcasts on Podcast Network Asia. All right, let's talk about AEW, and the big headline coming out of Dynamite from this morning is buo na yung lineup for Blood and Guts next week. So you've got Kota Ibushi joining the Elite. So now the Golden Elite is complete. And then on the other side, you've got PAC, who is the fifth man for the Blackpool Combat Club. So let's talk about this first. Kota Ibushi, who a lot of people have telegraphed from the moment that it became clear that both sides needed a fifth person. Ikaw ba, Jasper, are you invested in the Golden Lovers and the Golden Elite saga?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not really that familiar of yung sa kanila, but I am a bit familiar with the Golden Lovers. But I don't have a problem with Kota Ibushi being the fifth man, but couldn't they have just hid that for a while? Like it's like that time nung sa WrestleMania, they expected the Hardy Boys to be part of that ladder match, for the tag belts, and people knew that they were coming, but they didn't really reveal. There was no official that they were there, but they were there, and then when they came out, the crowd went bonkers. So couldn't they sana nag-wait na lang sila for Blood and Guts to reveal who the fifth member is, same as K-Pac, but
Interesting. That's a good point. I think they could have pulled off the CM Punk approach to Blood and Guts. Parang, I don't know. That's a good point. Actually, I don't know why Tony Khan didn't do that. Like, yes,
Kasi that was the main event for Dynamite. That was the main selling point for this episode.
Yeah. Gets ko naman. Like, gets ko na, one, that was the main event. That was a draw for this week's episode. And then that's a draw for next week's episode. But when the surprise is this obvious, like Punk back in 2021, why not just do the same thing? Everyone knows it's Kota Ibushi, so might as well milk it all the way to the very end. So
yep.
I don't know. I thought that would have been more powerful. Feeling ko nawalan sila ng ideas for this week. But I mean, like, you have Pac. That's fine. Pac should have been the reveal for this week, not necessarily the main event, the reveal. I would have been okay with that. Tapos you drop the major hints, you leak to the dirt sheets. Now, it's gonna be Kota Ibushi, and then you build up anticipation for the final moment. Diba? I just say that there's a big surprise. So, yung big reveal for the Elite's fifth guy is the big surprise. Then you draw some of the numbers. I mean, yes, Kota Ibushi is still not equal to CM Punk, pero still you are targeting the internet fan base anyway. So you might as well have gone all out, no pun intended. on this, diba? So, I mean, not that it makes a difference. I just thought that was a good idea. Okay, yeah, it should have been like that. Then I think that would have been a nice touch. But going back to the question, yeah, pretty obvious. I think it would have been a miss then if it had been anyone else. Syempre, the PAC revelation itself was like, all right, because you're only doing this because Brian is injured, and you had to bring in someone with history with Kenny.
Yeah.
So okay lang din. It's good. I like it more for the fact that they finally nailed down yung contract ni Ibushi. I'm guessing he's gonna be all elite after this. So how do you not, diba? How do you not make the most? I mean, the guy wants to be a free agent, but you can do that while being all elite, diba? So I think that is the more exciting thing, that he is gonna hopefully gonna be part of the promotion moving forward.
Ikaw, Jasper, what do you think of PAC emerging as the BCC's fifth?
I think it makes sense given how he wrestles. I think it, how is it safe to say to call it a little strong style ba or what? Parang it makes sense kasi PAC is really, when he goes in the ring, he really kills you, man. You can see that from yeah. Same as Moxley. So he really, I mean, admittedly it's a bit random, but end of the day when you look at it again, it kind of makes sense that PAC perfect fit.
Eto, let's do predictions because Blood and Guts is next week. Who's winning this one? Is it the BCC or is it the Golden Elite? Because at this point they've traded wins from Double or Nothing and Forbidden Door.
Elite na. I mean, BCC has won the bigger matches. Like they won Anarchy, they won the rematch. Then after that, diba? The smaller rematch. So at this point, you bring in Kota Ibushi, the lover of Kenny Omega. How can you have that and still have the power of love be defeated? So, you know, I mean, like, why waste surprise to give them a loss?
I agree with Ro.
Okay. So Golden Elite. Kayo, in the comment section, let us know who you think is winning Blood and Guts. Are we in for a happy ending with the Golden Elite, or are we going to have blue balls for our emotions with the BCC? Hit us up on TikTok and on Twitter at Wrestling2XPod with your predictions as well. Let's go back in time here and talk about Collision. Let's start off with CM Punk here. Before the reveal, it was reported na Punk said na siya na lang daw yung fifth guy for either side, whether it's the Elite or the Blackpool Combat Club. And then ni-report ng Fightful Select over the weekend that neither team would want him. So let's get your thoughts in here. Jasper, natatawa ka, parang may thoughts ka about this one.
I mean, CM Punk hasn't been in an issue lately, but I think, I don't know, man. I don't know what he's doing. He should stay in Collision because there's a lot of baggage with here if he joins either team here. Diba? So I don't think it's just gonna be professional wrestling here. It's gonna probably be receipts.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, that's a good point. I think he would have fit in with BCC.
Yeah, he would have.
Considering everything. But syempre, he legally can't. Kasi I don't think they are allowed by the admin at the very least to work with each other. And then I don't think the Elite also want to work with him, which is fair. I respect the Elite's wishes to not work with him. Like we should, again, for the nth time, we should not force people in the wrestling business to work with people they don't like. It's not respectful. It's not good. Oh yeah, may Joseph tayo. Nagpapanood naman si Joseph.
Ibang Joseph. Joseph na kasama pa natin. What's a bigger debacle? Punk being part of Blood and Guts or the new PAGCOR logo?
The new PAGCOR logo. I mean, Punk isn't getting paid $3 million for being in Blood and Guts. Yeah,
I just had to get that.
No, but yes. Yeah, so
go. No.
Go ahead. Go for it.
Okay. I was gonna segue to a connecting point on Collision, and this is something that I've read in your reviews, Ro, about how over the first month of Collision's lifespan, it's mostly the same guys that we're seeing in the prime spots on that 2-hour show. It's Punk, it's Joe, it's FTR, Bullet Club Gold, maybe Ricky Starks, and maybe Powerhouse Hobbs. It's basically the same guys, and then susulpot yung mga ibang regulars like the House of Black and
House of Black are confirmed Collision guys. Malachi wants to be Collision only.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so there are pros and cons about the pro is yes, there is a legit brand split kahit soft siya. Like MJF can appear on both shows, right? There's that, but at the same time, for some reason, the people who are split and are strictly Collision seem to be so few relatively relative to how the card is booked that I see the same people on the show. Like for the past 4 episodes, 4 weeks, it's been the same guy. So it's been, as you mentioned, it's FTR. Now it's Bullet Club Gold, CM Punk, Samoa Joe. Yes, okay, may brand split, but this is literally the playbook ni Vince noong nag-brand split siya recently. So, not saying it's bad, but it is getting close to I'm watching the same guys every week. And that's what I didn't like before Triple H took over. That's why Triple H signed all his comebacks, his call-ups, diba? Just so he could provide each roster some depth. So, yun, it's weird because ROH tapes before Collision. So that means all the mid-carders are on hand. So I don't understand why they couldn't pull like a mid-carder for CM Punk or a mid-carder for FTR or Ricky Starks, diba? The Lucha guys, the Luchadors, diba? Why do I have to see Commander only on Dynamite? Andrade, Miro, those guys, diba?
Yeah, Miro is a Collision guy.
Yeah, Miro is a Collision guy. And then I didn't see him last week.
Meron, may vignette.
Vignette, pero a match, no.
No.
So the thing is, I'm seeing the same permutation of matches when it comes to the guys, and Julia Hart. So
right, you know what it feels like. Jasper, I don't know if you've played WWE 2K's My GM mode, but
I was about to say that. I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Feels like they're on a budget.
Explain it for the people who probably haven't played it.
Basically, you get to choose which ones you want to use on your show. You assign a belt, and then you mix and match the feuds and the matches.
Yeah. And then you have to keep the feuds going. You have to keep the stories going with the same guys.
You have to keep the show going until a certain amount of days.
Tapos pag di mo ginamit yung,
diba?
Pag di mo ginamit yung mga roster mo,
they get upset.
Sila.
Yeah.
Mag-end yung rivalry bigla.
So yeah, I mean, inherently it's not bad, but for me I don't like it because this is what I didn't like when Vince handled the brand split. So yun lang, it's upsetting to me because we weren't supposed to get the Vince isms of his latter run, diba? And then slowly we're inching towards this, at least on Collision. So that's not cool. I want to like Collision, like I do. I like a lot of it, but I do see some points where it's headed toward a place that I don't like, and I just wish that they do. Tony Khan does something about that.
Yeah. So there, those are some quick thoughts on Collision, which is a good 5 days now since the last episode aired. And given what they've already announced for this weekend, I doubt that that's going to change anything that'll happen for this Sunday Manila time. We still have a few minutes before the top of the hour. So my new thoughts ba tayo on the latest chapter of the buddy cop movie featuring MJF and Adam Cole?
It's better than the things you like. It's the best thing that's ever happened to MJF and Adam Cole. That's why I put it up on my background. It's may chemistry sila. Like, Jesus Christ. He has a lot better chemistry with Adam Cole than Chris Jericho. So, it's pretty fun. And I know there are fans who don't really care about the great wrestling action of AEW, but like you're some of you I know are complaining. Where's the story? Like where's the stuff I can sink my teeth into? Where is the storytelling stuff? This is the storytelling stuff. Watch this stuff. Kasi you know it's headed for the turn. It's like Sami Zayn in the Bloodline. You know they were headed for a turn, and it's really really fun just watching them build it up to eventually get there. So sobrang saya niya. It's my feel good buddy cop movie. Glendale. I'm gonna write about this when I do my Dynamite review, but I don't feel the Don Callis Jericho thing kasi bigla siyang sumulpot, diba? All of a sudden Jericho is being confronted by Don and recruited by Don Callis, and all of a sudden he's slowly dropping the JAS. So where the fuck did that come from?
Also, all of a sudden he's turning face.
Yeah, diba? Saan galing yun? Like, buti itong MJF Cole may pinanggalingan.
Yeah, even if medyo convoluted yung concept ng blind
yeah,
draw.
I mean, like they had a point A and they're going all the way to point B and C and D and wherever this is going. So I appreciate that. I respect you, Booker Man. I don't know how much of this is who's writing. Like, is MJF writing this shit? Is Adam Cole writing this shit? Is Bryan Danielson writing this shit? How much is Tony Khan writing this shit? Kasi
yes, Ace
so. If Tony Khan is writing this shit, which I doubt, kasi this much entertainment cannot possibly come from one Tony Khan. But
ouch.
No, I'm serious, kasi yung CM Punk MJF stuff, you can't tell me that was Tony Khan entirely, diba? MJF Chris Jericho, that can't be Tony Khan entirely, or else everything else on AEW would be this good, diba? So there has to be some input from these guys. So especially MJF, he has a mind for the entertainment part of the business, diba?
Yeah.
Yeah. So please watch this stuff. It is the cinema of AEW, I think. I will be recapping it on TikTok, same way I recap the Bloodline stuff.
Yo, Jasper, any thoughts you want to get in there from Dynamite?
Honestly, it's basically, I do agree with what Ro just said. It's, you enjoy the ride while until it ends. It's really fun. It's really better than the one they did with Chris Jericho, I would say too. It's a little bit relatable too.
Yeah, diba?
Yeah, ito relatable kasi like I don't know about Euro, but like when I'm in the MWF locker room, I kind of see myself more in the Adam Cole mode na para I don't really want to go out anymore. I'm good. But I'm sure that there are some guys in the locker room, not throwing shade at anyone, na medyo mas makaka-relate kay MJF. So, I get it. I understand. Let's address this comment here from Joseph Octavo, who's asking for theories for SummerSlam. Dude, we actually prognosticated a few minutes earlier, a few minutes prior to joining.
Wala kaming theory kasi hindi naman book si Austin Theory. So, wala tayo dun.
Lagyan natin yung Pinoy laugh track.
Hey. No, but seriously, we did talk about everything. Yeah, we talked about the early stuff earlier. So, just catch the replay.
Yeah. And for those of you looking for a discussion on Roman Reigns and the Tribal Court, go check out our Picks of the Week episode from earlier this week.
Yes.
Sobrang bilis ng pag-edit ni Babyface producer Jasper on that one. So that
I feel like he wants to be on
feed.
it too.
Tuesday pa lang.
Baka gusto mo maglagay ng pick for next week? Talk about it.
I guess.
Pwede naman, di naman may tututol.
Oh, we do need more content.
Yeah, people in the chat, let us know how Babyface producer Jasper did in his debut performance on the podcast. How was he as he popped his podcasting cherry? Sabi niya, it's the first time he's actually guested on a podcast, despite him being behind the scenes on every other episode he's worked on. So let's give him a round of applause here because he absolutely deserves it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, chat.
Thank you very much, Babyface producer Jasper. Let's get some plugs here. Let's start off by promoting the show of a friend of the podcast, the great Rex Navarrete, that's happening in a couple of Saturdays. July 22, his show is happening at the Music Museum in Green Hills. Tambayan namin mga Chinoy. 2,000 pesos ang tickets, and it's being hosted by the good doctor, Nace Cruz. So you can get your tickets at comedymanila.ph. Again, Rex Navarrete on July 22. Yeah, if you haven't seen his shows, you owe it to yourself to go catch it because he is the OG.
I mean, he's the OG. Like, I'm not gonna throw shade at the other films, but he's the OG. He started the shit.
So go catch Rex Navarrete, 2,000 pesos well spent at Music Museum on July 22. Right, Ro, any plugs on your end?
Yes, sir. Latest episode of Unmasked is up. Episode 5 talks about 2 shows. Our last show is Makati Cinema Square. That is Renaissance 2015. And then our first show is I Academy, where the Aircon debuted. The story is all about the implosion of DualShock, the tag team. So a lot of good stuff there. If you want to deep dive into lore, I know some people enjoy the lore and the tidbits that they didn't know about that time in PWR history and pro wrestling, in Pinoy wrestling history. So it's not just my story; it's also a bit of history. It's not 100% accurate. I do get some stuff wrong. My people here do have to fact check me, and I will fact check when we record next.
Teka, parang nag-hang si Ro there. Eto, sabi ni Jasper, so you're an I Academy grad, Jasper?
Yeah. I actually saw one match dun sa that big auditorium sa old building.
Which show did you get to attend at I Academy? Yung 2016 or yung 2018 run?
2018.
Oh, boy. Okay. That's enough for now.
Yeah. Shit. All right. Ito, since Ro plugged Unmasked, let me go plug MWF. Go subscribe to MWF on Gank. That's when you can get yung early release episodes for Gigil at Romansa, which was taped over the weekend. We don't have an exact date yet on when that stuff will make it to your TV screens on Rock of Manila TV.
It should be no. As far as I know, it will be there by the end of the month. Before the end of the month. Yun yung nasabi. I don't want to say yun yung pangako, pero it was the promotion. So they are scrambling to get content on the air by that time kasi maraming processes yun. So you can be sure that it's gonna come sooner than later.
Mm-hmm. And for everything else that MWF is up to, go follow MWF on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The marketing team of MWF does a banger of a job.
Yes,
just pushing content out there, making sure na may commentary na yung videos when they upload it post-show. So go support MWF and your local wrestling scene by subscribing to Gank or just showing love on social media for Manila Wrestling Federation. The website, by the way, is www.manilawrestling.com.
Hanapin nyo na rin yung Rock of Manila TV sa cable nyo.
Yeah, kasi wala pang content, kami pa lang. So, malaking bagay rin if you support Rock of Manila as early as now.
We are apparently flagshipping the channel, so that's pretty pressuring. Don't feel any pressure right now.
Take that, noontime shows. So there, that's all the plugs on our end. Make sure to follow us individually. It is at Roiswar, at China Supersized, at Monday Night Rowan, at EML_Meister, and at _Stan C. Ito, si Babyface producer Jasper. Get your socials in, bud.
No, I don't have any socials.
Ayaw niya ma-follow. Sige, go. Okay lang yan. Tama yan.
Not yet.
At Chang Daddy on Threads. Chang.Daddy on Threads.
Yeah. For the rest of us on the pod, same handles over on Threads. Wala pang Threads yung podcast account because reasons.
We'll
figure it out.
I'm just waiting for the when they add the feature to switch back and forth like they do on Instagram. So
yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, we'll catch you early next week for the Picks of the Week episode. Yes, Roseanne, we acknowledge you too. Thank you very much. Go download the episode on Spotify when it goes up. Whether it's the audio-only episodes we put out or the live streams, make sure to give us a 5-star rating as well. Like us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, wherever you can find us. And if you join the live streams, we'll catch you on Thursday for another one, 7 p.m. as we recap Blood and Guts, everything that happens on Raw and SmackDown and Collision and Dynamite, maybe NXT as well. And on that note, thank you very much again to Babyface producer Jasper on his behalf and on behalf of Romaran. My name is Stan C. Another episode in the books. Stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast out. Bye-bye.
Peace.